Now, if you are unable to tune into our live NFL daily coverage, it's okay. You can always hit me up on Twitter, slide in my DMs, and get some of these in-bio bots out of there. At WhatGoingDowney for any NFL thoughts, questions, concerns you might have, feel free to send them my way. True or lore, should the league fine Deebo Samuel for his punch his team on the sideline and put his hands on his teammate's neck? I don't know if that's an NFL fining thing or if that's internal discipline, in which case, yeah, you handle that internally, you fine him, whatever. Look, the kicker can't miss 3 field goals in a tight game. He delivered eventually. Also, Deebo, you can't do that. It's not that hard. So I would not be surprised if there is some type of discipline handed out, whether it's from the Niners or whatever, in the direction of Deebo. Roy Williams, the Cowboys should draft TreVeyon Henderson. I played against him in high school my freshman year when he was a senior. Dude is a beast. I can only imagine how that went for you as a freshman at a high school who was basically just out of 8th grade for who's about to go be the starting back at Ohio State. That was probably not fun overall. But I think that in general, when it comes to any team, Cowboys not looking for a back, it's a really good running back class. It is loaded with talent, not just in round 1 with Ashton Jeanty or early day 2 with guys like Marion Hampton and Caleb Johnson. It stretches to the 3rd, 4th, 5th, maybe even the 6th round. There are a lot of backs who I think can contribute on an NFL team. From Christian, I don't know why everyone is still on the Commanders hype train. LOL. Washington is going to get a rally check Thursday. Eagles win 35-17. Barkley has a field day with the Commanders defense, his best game. I will say this mailbag will go out on demand, so not live. I was obviously filming it live, on, let's check my timing, on Saturday. So we will know if Christian was right or wrong. You can type in W for if he's right or L if he's wrong in the comments section. From Supersize Steve, are you worried about Caleb Williams right now? Yes and no. There's still been a lot of good things we've seen from Caleb Williams. I think in general, we are far too inclined to do this like every week. It's either the greatest rookie performance ever or the worst rookie performance ever. He's a bust. Like, I wish we could just like kind of take our time and slow play things and not have to have a extreme take reaction each and every single week. The offense has not been nearly good enough the past 3 weeks, and I think the play calling was a huge factor in that. I would like to see Caleb Williams actually do more outside of structure. He's almost trying too hard, I feel like, at times to go through his progressions and stay in the pocket. I wish he would be a little bit more the creative guy we saw at USC. You wish you were having the Jaden Daniels type season. You'd feel a lot better about that one. I'm not going to write a player off, though, after 9 games. That just seems reactionary and far too much so as far as I'm concerned. I am worried about this part, though. You're going to have a new head coach and a 3rd offensive coordinator in less than a year for Caleb Williams. That's probably not a good thing. So overall, what is your confidence level in the Bears' number 1 overall pick? Scale it for me from 1 to 10. 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. Go vote at the pinned comment of today's show. Brandon, what's the Jets do in the off season? That's actually a really good question. And what's very tricky about this conversation is who is in charge of your team when you make decisions on Joe Douglas, on your new head coach. I wouldn't be surprised if there's 2 new ones. Because I think it'll be Woody Johnson to start, and then he'll probably go be the Great Britain ambassador again and not be around the team, so his brother takes over. And then you kind of got some disconnected leadership to an extent. I feel like the Jets' first step is to hire a new head coach, probably bring in a new GM in Joe Douglas. You were aggressive trying to win now. It didn't work. So be it. Start fresh. Tell Aaron we'll do whatever you want to do, buddy. Maybe even if that's go play for the Vikings for a half year until J.J. McCarthy's ready and you truly complete the Brett Favre circle. But it feels like whether it's partially this year or fully this offseason, it's time for the Jets to start that rebuild around. Offensively, Garrett Wilson, Elijah Vera Tucker, Breece Hall, and Olu Fashanu. Not a bad spot to be, but still need a lot more talent overall. Eric Simmons, will Bill Belichick coach in 2025? I would guess yes. Top teams feel like the Giants stand out if they do fire Brian Daboll. I'm sure we won't beat the Cowboys' accusations anytime soon. I would expect Belichick gets a head coaching job. I think he wants that most wins ever record, and he probably wants to go somewhere that's closer to winning and not in full-on rebuild territory. Funniest outcome is Tampa, and he just replaces Tom Brady somehow. It'd be kind of funny. Jenna 3, Deion to the Cowboys. How about no? I won't go too far in depth on this because when I host the shows on NFL Daily, it can become Cowboy-centric, but it's a terrible idea. Deion's not an NFL coach. That's not what he wants to be. So that's not what he wants, period. He doesn't want to be an NFL coach. He knows he's not as good as a fit in the NFL. And the Cowboys are already a circus where the brand matters more than the on-field product far too frequently. Adding Deion to that mix just feels like a terrible idea. Now, assuming Big Mike's gone, I'd be shocked if he wasn't. Who will the Cowboys hire as their next head coach? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Christian again, second thing. You think the Steelers are contenders now or no? I want your opinion. Look, Pittsburgh, championship contenders, I have a little bit of concern there, but they're going to be a playoff team. And if you're a playoff team, even if you're not top 3 championship contender in the AFC, that still puts you in that conversation. I'm not saying I would bet on them to make it to the Super Bowl or anything, but they're 7-2. They're going to win double-digit games. They're going to be in the postseason. They've got competent quarterback play, unlike the Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett disaster last year. Russ has been better. I think the reliance in general on deep balls is probably too much, but they'll be in the postseason. So I think by definition that makes them contenders. Mike Tomlin always finds ways to win games after all. Demarius Young, what college coaches will jump to the league? I don't know if there will be any. The games are different. I don't think Kirby Smart wants to be an NFL head coach. Nick Saban's retired. Steve Sarkisian tried the NFL coaching thing. That didn't go that great in the end. Dan Lanning, I think, is just a really good college coach. And I mean that positively, not negatively. Deion's a college coach. Lincoln Riley is a great offensive designer, but I think he'd be a bad NFL head coach. And the only reason why he would jump is because it's not going well at USC. So do you want to take on the guy that's failing? I don't think you're going to see, maybe you see some more Jeff Halfleys of the world make the jump back to the NFL. Maybe Bill O'Brien one day tries in some capacity, but I don't know if you'll see NFL head coach from college head coach. Because remember, the college coaches make just as much, if not even more. Now, if you need something to add to your Christmas wish list this year, check out the NFL jerseys over on Fanatics. Rookie jerseys aplenty. Chatsports.com/NFL jersey. That link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. Sometimes they go on sale. Sometimes they don't. They got you guys covered there. Chatsports.com/NFL jersey. Whatever team you're a fan of, they've got a ton of options for you. Eric Lockhart, you think the Giants are going to finally bench Daniel Jones? Again, we sit here on Tuesday filming this live show, so as of right now, there's been no public announcement. The Giants are on bye this week. I would be surprised if they didn't make the move away from Daniel Jones. You've got the extra bye week to prep and change things. They kind of were vague and non-committal about the quarterback spot going into the bye week. They're probably trying to play the disguise game of we're not going to say what we're doing. I think this is the end of the line for Daniel Jones. You don't want that injury guaranteed to hit. Just sit him. Don't risk putting him out there and having something bad happen. Because he's not very good. Never has been. Don't know why they paid him. He had a half-good season that was the defense carried. I digress. We got live mailbags for you guys every single week, so hit that sub button, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Kelly Perry, how do you feel about the Ravens? They're fun to watch. The defense worries me. They've not done a great job. They lost some talent, and they had a bit of a coaching brain drain as well, which is never a good thing. But Lamar looks awesome. He looks better than what he did last year. I have been very, very impressed so far by the Ravens offense. Johnny Lopez, if Ben Johnson had his choice for head coaching jobs, what's better, the Bears or the Jets? I think it's pretty clearly the Chicago Bears, because you have your answer at quarterback. Now, maybe you got to develop him more and whatever, but I don't know. Who here would rather have the Chicago Bears pick 12 with Caleb Williams versus the Jets picking at pick 7 or 8 with maybe one more year of Aaron Rodgers and a giant unknown behind him? And ownership might not be great at either, although Woody Johnson is going to go away, it seems like. I think the Bears pretty clearly is the better gig. Robbie, explain the Jalen Milroe hype like I am 5. Big arm, run fast. Does that work? Legitimately, that's what it is. He is a fairly well-built quarterback at like 6'1", 225 with game-breaking speed. He's pulling away from college football corners who will be in the NFL. If he were to run it at the combine, he would break 4.4. Like he is a 4.3 speed quarterback. The arm strength is very strong. The other stuff has to be figured out, but in a quarterback class that doesn't have great high-end traits, Milroe presents them. Now, you have to be patient. Anthony Richardson, Indianapolis. That's probably a concern for some teams, but the traits are what NFL teams love, and Milroe has those. So will he end up being a first-round NFL draft pick? I have a bookmark on Twitter, saved from Alabama fans who said it was laughable to just even be in the NFL. So I can't wait till I get to bust out that retweet. Why for yes and for no? Let me know in the comment section of today's show. Atlantis Gaming, how many wins the Denver Broncos rest of the seasons to stay in the playoffs? They're at 500 right now. I think if you can get to 10, you're going to get in. 9 might come down to tiebreakers. You've got the Falcons. The Raiders, you should win. The Browns might get flexed out of prime time. You should win. Indy is maybe a bit of a toss-up game. That puts you at 8 with the Chargers, Bengals, Chiefs, and, of course, the aforementioned Falcons in there. But Denver just exceeded expectations so far this year. So I would honestly not be surprised if that Week 17 game between the Bengals and the Broncos has pretty massive playoff implications, if not to eliminate somebody, and the Chargers the week before that puts you in real playoff positioning. I mean, you play Colts, Chargers, Broncos, or Bengals 3 weeks in a row, and those teams are 6, 7, 8, and 9 in the playoff picture right now. That 3-game stretch will determine if Denver and who else makes it in the postseason. Ecuador man, am I the only Cowboys fan that is sick of the stupid sun argument in the Cowboys stadium? So you're saying, shut up about the sun. Shut up about the sun, right? I get it. It is frustrating because there is a very easy solution. Just put up the blinds they use for everything else. Like, the only reason it's a problem is because it's the only stadium that was built east to west, where the sun rises and sets. Doesn't make any sense. No one would care if the blinds went up. Like, all the problems go away. It's really not that hard to do, frankly. It is annoying because, like, you have bigger issues. I would just argue that the stubbornness from the Jones boys is a symptom of